From this monstrosity to the next, Trevor Henderson, creator of the menacing cryptids we all know and love, has crafted an abundance of beautifully bone-chilling monsters over these past years. But there's some of them that could be considered scarier than the rest due to a mix of their characteristics, abilities, and overall formidableness. Today, join me as we count down the top 10 scariest cryptids created by the legendary and one and only Trevor Henderson. Before we begin, I first want to state this list was compiled by myself. Therefore, this list is solely based around my opinion alone, ranked by what I believe would be the most terrifying creatures to encounter if met face to face with in real life. But with that out of the way, let's begin. Finding out your child is missing can be one of the most horrifying and dreadful feelings for a parent. But imagine an entire classroom of children going missing. Henderson crafted this abomination in November 2018, based around that fear, with this statement: a whole classroom of kids disappeared, just like that. When people realized what had happened, there was a manhunt. Not one of those kids ever turned up. People started seeing things, started to say, all those kids never left this room. They started saying, they're still here. If you haven't watched my video on this monster yet, I recommend doing so after watching this one. The country road creature is definitely one of Henderson's most visually disturbing creations. With skeletal thin limbs and a horrifying glare, this pale beast seems to scare viewers with the fear of driving on the country roads at night. Of course, it's only a piece of fiction, just like the rest of Trevor's monsters. But sometimes, it might just be safe to not take the country roads back home. Crafted in November 2019, this image is disturbing for two reasons. One is the grotesque pale face protruding through the darkness, and two is what seems to be an elongated arm or leg jutting out from its side. What makes this creature even more disturbing is that we don't know what the rest of its body looks like, as it's hidden behind the shadows. I did add a similar looking creature to my top 20 list I compiled last year. Although they do look quite similar, it's unknown if they're actually related. I'm sure the majority of you know this one, and if you've read into the official lore behind it, you'd understand why it makes this list. Cartoon Cat is rumored to be one of Henderson's most violent creatures. With its stretched out arms, bloody mouth, and gruesome ability to remove its head, it's currently unknown as to what this incredibly cruel cartoon figure does with its victims. But if I had to take a guess, I'd say it captures people, brings them back to its abandoned lair, and consumes them. You might be asking why I've included a sign in this video. Well, like most monsters on this list, the fear of the unknown is the scariest of them all. There's nothing more to this photograph than the eerie warning sign that this creature may or may not be present. You technically could go back through all of Henderson's work and try to find something that looks similar to the silhouette found here, but I personally feel this image is disturbing enough on its own. Upon first glance, I wasn't going to include this creature on the list. However, after reading the description, I knew it had a place as one of Henderson's creepiest cryptids. Stated to be a singular entity with multiple voices coming from its mouth and chest, this one reminded me of a monster that scared me as a child, that being the Darkness from the 1999 horror film House on Haunted Hill. It seems there's only this one instance of this creature in Henderson's library, but if my fear could take a guess, it would say this entity absorbs its victims and makes them a part of it. The year 2020 has been a strange one, including this next creature who came out of it. What started out as a guideline sign for wearing a face covering eventually turned into this. What ranks this creation so high on this list is the creativity behind it. Although it's still horrifying to look at, the idea pays off in being one of Henderson's most clever pieces of work yet. Often seen in photographs moments before or after a tragedy, the man with the upside-down face is definitely Trevor's most sadistic creation yet. He's been a recurring cryptid since January 2020, invisibly stalking locations during disaster and feeding off the negative emotions after the fact. Inspired by Ray Bradbury's 1947 short story, The Crowd, this man is wrong on so many levels. Although Henderson did state this man doesn't directly cause the disasters, he's still said to be a bad time overall. I'm sure all of you know this one already. The infamous Siren Head ranks at number 2 on this list, and not just because of its popularity, but because of what it is. In several videos, I've explained the official Siren Head lore to the best of my ability. Between its 40-foot stature, ability to lure prey via recorded sounds, and eldritch-like appearance depending on who is gazing at it, there's no reason why Siren Head shouldn't be on this list. But there's one more type of entity that I personally believe is much, much scarier. But before I get to the top spot, I would first like to showcase a few honorable mentions. But with those out of the way, here's the number 1 scariest monster created by Trevor Henderson. These colossal atrocities speak for themselves, each one unsettling and disconcerting from the previous. The reason I've included all of them is because of their towering formidableness. You see, many of these titans form a concerning narrative that either begins with a weather warning or sirens. I'll save the details for their own video, but if I had to describe these creations in one word, it would be flawless. Each one of these Lovecraftian-like horrors outranks all the other cryptids within the Trevor Henderson mythos universe. From the beast with many eyes to the towering behemoth with a twisted neck, they are perfect examples of unnerving beasts you would never want to meet with in real life. But what are your thoughts on this list? If you think I forgot a cryptid, please let me know in the comments below. Additionally, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more content dedicated to internet horror. But as always, thank you for watching, and good night.